Welcome to Education Today. I'm Olivia Kowalski of Armstrong High School in the Armstrong School District. The Armstrong School District consists of 8 buildings, all of which have their own energy needs and use energy differently. When there are that many buildings to manage, there are several factors that play into how much energy is consumed by each building. If not monitored, it would be easy for the district to overspend on energy, and with the variety of electrical needs in the district, those costs can really add up. The good news is that the district has a person who is assigned to analyze each building's energy consumption and find ways to help the district save money where consumption is simply not needed or could be reduced. Tonight we brought that person in to tell us about his job and the district's energy program. Welcome to Education Today.
Thank you, Olivia.
Please tell us briefly about yourself and your role with the district.
Okay, originally I started out as a chemistry teacher, started out in Dayton High School, which is no longer in existence. From there, transferred down to Shannock Valley, which is no longer in existence, and finally over to West Shamokin. I started here in the district around the late 1980s. So I spent, before I got out of the classroom in 2009, I spent 21 years with the district in the education aspect of it.
It's a very long time.
Yeah, but it went fast.
Yeah. I understand you were a teacher in the district prior to this role. How long have you worked or been working in each of your respective roles?
Okay, with the district, like I said, from late, I think it was 1987, 1988, moved into the district, started up in Dayton for 21 years then, finished up at West Shamokin. In 2005 is when I started then with the energy program, and I've been with that since 2005.
Okay. Why did you decide to take this role on after you retired from the classroom?
Well, actually, I took it on before I retired from the classroom. So there were times that I wondered what I had gotten myself into with the amount of work that were required. But the job started, I interviewed for the job, started in 2005, and so I still was a full-time teacher out at West Shamokin. And so it really taxed my time and things like that.
Yeah. How often do you visit each building in the district? Is there a regular pattern or set days?
There's really no set pattern and dates. Usually each building is visited probably in the neighborhood of at least once a week, both in the evenings, during the week, and on weekends. And also Saturdays, Sunday, well, I did say weekends, but also on holidays too.
Okay. Can you compare and contrast what the district energy costs were to what they are now? In other words, how was it improved?
That's kind of hard. The district is still in transition. We had 15 buildings that I monitored when the program started. We're now down to 8. The overall costs and stuff like that, I really don't have much of a handle on it. I'm more interested in the individual buildings' performances.
Yes. We are going to take a break, and when we come back, we will dive deeper into the district's energy program with ASD's energy manager, Bill Smeltz.
All your professors, all of them, they know that all it takes is one dreamer with passion, one person, and they hope in each of you that you might be that one who makes a longer-lasting light bulb, who writes music for the ages, who reaches into the mind and discovers a new star and who can change the world of a 5th grader. We're gathered here to hope in you.
Hello, I'm Cindy McCrae, Director of Arc Manor Addiction Recovery Center. Arc Manor is committed to confidential quality services 24 hours a day, including fully licensed residential, partial hospital, and outpatient treatment programs. With 39 years of experience in addiction treatment, Arc Manor puts an emphasis on the needs of special populations including women, co-occurring disorders, and adolescents. For more information, call 724-548-7607 or 800-323-1333. Brought to you by the Armstrong Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
The brain is a remarkable organ. It's almost infinite in its capacity. Its ability to reach its full potential is limited by only one thing: the heart. For if the heart isn't fully engaged in what you're doing, if you have no drive, no passion, the brain will simply go through the motions. Find your success at Indiana University of Pennsylvania.
Vince Mercury, Executive Director of the Open Door. Worried, scared, confused, not sure where to turn for help? The Open Door, a behavioral health organization, has a full range of addiction counseling services and mental health crisis intervention services which may be able to help. Call 724-465-2605 or 1-877-333-2470. The Open Door, steps towards hope, courage, and recovery. Brought to you by the Armstrong, Indiana Drug-Free Communities Coalition.
We are back with Education Today. We are talking with Armstrong School District's Energy Manager, Bill Smeltz. How did the energy program come into existence and what's its purpose?
Okay, the energy program came in around 2005. A company known as Energy Education Incorporated out of Texas made a proposal to the district and to the school board guaranteeing them energy savings if they followed their prescribed program. That program meant that we would have to attend seminars out of the district. They would also bring in consultants, both a data consultant and a facilities consultant, and also part of the program required then the hiring of a district energy manager. Being a, quote, money conservative type person, I applied for it with a number of other people. We went through interviews, and fortunately I ended up being hired as far as that was.
And that was in
concerned.
2005?
That was in 2005. The program did not come cheaply though. The district had to pay that company $10,000 a month, but that was to be covered by the projected savings. So there was a lot of pressure put on the manager, whomever that would be, in this case myself, to make sure that those savings were accomplished. If not, this company guaranteed there would be savings and would refund to the district any amount to make up that $10,000, and probably would require the hiring of a new district energy manager.
Yes, that is very interesting. What is the basic philosophy of the energy program?
The basic philosophy is quite simple. Think green. The whole program was based upon no major outlays of new equipment. It was all done with trying to get people to think green. Basically, what it comes down to, I would put it, if you needed it, you used it. If not, turn it off.
Yes. What are the duties of the energy manager?
Okay, with the duties of the energy manager, first of all, there are board policies. That was the primary directive, was to make sure that the board policies, which were kind of established by Energy Ed, which is now known as Synergistic, were being followed. That involved visitations of the buildings, and then with that data, or there was, like I said, I'll go back, there was 2 consultants that would come in on a weekly basis. And so I'd meet with them after school hours, and they would show me, for example, the data consultant, we would have to go back and gather all year prior invoices from the district in terms of gas and electric invoices. These in turn would then have to be reorganized because the way the district kept track of them and the way Energy Ed wanted them to be tracked involved a lot of resorting. These then in turn would put into a program known as Energy Cap, which managed, reported, and provided us with the data that showed what was transporting in these buildings. The Energy Cap entry sheet or form, I think we did provide a copy of that, which can be shown here eventually. Once that data, and that took a whole lot of time learning how to import the data, because you not only have to deal with kilowatt hours, you have to deal with MMBTUs, MCFs, or all the different utility functions. With the on-site visit of the building consultant, we'd actually go through and show me what to look for in the buildings in terms of temperature, what was running, exhaust fans running, our overhead projectors running. So this went on for a period of 4 years, these consultants coming in. And during that period of time, we still had to make sure that we were maintaining that, at least that minimum of $10,000 a year savings.
What made you like so interested in becoming to like take an application to this job?
Like I said, I was always interested in saving energy and being a chemistry instructor, and also one that is concerned with the environment too.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this as an opportunity, and I saw that in the district there were a lot of waste taking place. Lights being left on, both by the teachers, custodians, and things like that. That when you leave a classroom, simply turn the lights off.
Yes.
But it wasn't a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so this came, okay, maybe through this we could do something
Yeah.
about it. And also, in other words, it was a supplemental contract.
Do you think now like the energy has been like dialing down a little bit? Like people are more cautious of like turning off the lights when needed and stuff now?
Oh, most certainly. I've gotten a lot of comments that people now have taken this not only in the district buildings, but they've taken it at home too.
Mm.
And I've gotten complaints by, my husband comes home and keeps turning lights out on,
Yeah.
things like that. So, which, in turn helps them in their own
Yeah.
household, things like that. So it has been advantageous not only to the district, but to the district employees.
Yes. What are the duties of the energy manager?
Okay, basically then, like I said, it was to enforce, make sure that the ASD school board policies were being met. I will go into the buildings on a weekly basis, either at night, weekends, holidays, look at what is going on in the buildings in terms of temperature, what's being left on. This then in turn is put into a report sheet, which again I have provided as far as a graphic. A copy of this goes to the building principal, a copy goes to the head custodian of the building, I keep a copy, and a copy then goes to our facilities and building manager. And like I said, these take place at night when we have a second crew there to make sure they're not leaving lights on in the classroom, and on weekends that make sure that everything is down that can be down. That we are on what was referred to as an unoccupied mode. Occupied is when students are there. Unoccupied, so the students are gone, the building should be, with a short period of time, going down into an occupied mode, but yes, still maintaining conditions that are favorable for the custodians to work in.
So with us saving money because of like the less use of energy, does that help us pay the $10,000 that is needed to give to that?
Oh, most certainly, yeah. We're no longer in contract, so that expense is over and done with. It was amazing how in a short period of time, simply by when a teacher walks out of their classroom, turn their classroom lights on, because there was a lot of myths about fluorescent lights. Well, it's cheaper to leave them on than off. Originally that was true, but studies show that the fact that with the newer type ballast lights, the payback time was within seconds. So if you walk out, turn them off, come back on, turn them back on.
Yeah, and I feel like with so many lights at our school, nothing's really cheaper to leave on or off.
That's correct. Basically, that is correct. Now, some of the HVAC systems and things like that, it's a little bit different
Yeah.
story. But with basically your lighting, with now the LED, things like that, even with LED, with the less consumption, still get them turned off. It's good to have to get into.
Yeah. What are some of the difficulties that you've experienced through your job?
Oh, there really hasn't been too many, but I can remember initially one of the first things that came up, I walked into school and I could just tell the atmosphere with the custodians, something was up. Well, eventually you find out things.
Yes.
And it was started out as a joke that was put out that my job was not so much for checking on the lighting and things like that, was to see how much work the custodians were doing. So they didn't trust me being in the buildings.
Oh my.
So that took quite a period of time to overcome.
Yeah.
You also have trying to change people's mindset.
Yeah.
That can be, for some people, the learning curve is quite steep.
Yeah.
Also, there was, in some cases in the district, a philosophy that this is the way we've done it in the past, so this is the way we need to do it now. As equipment improved, we perhaps didn't need to start the buildings up at 4:30 in the morning. Let's cut the run time down, things like that. So overcome tradition sometimes is a problem. You also have dealing with utility companies. We have one company that we've negotiated a contract with, or not, basically a deal that we had 3 meters in one building. Why 3? They couldn't even answer the question. I said, well, then give us credit. Instead of charging us for those meters, charge us
Right,
only
yeah.
for 1. That was agreed to, and that was a number of years ago. But periodically, they change a billing system, something like that, and so you constantly have to check the bills because it just disappears. You call them, and it'll be put back on. It'll go for months at a time, and it disappears again. And also, one of the problems is they use different units. Our supplier uses MCF, People's Natural Gas, who we purchase, who actually is the, shall we say, the generator of the gas, uses a whole different unit. So I constantly have to make corrections or calculations to make sure that we're talking about the same
Yeah, right.
amount. So those are some of the aspects of it.
What do you think the future holds for the program?
That's interesting. You know, everything in the district is based upon, it comes down to money, dollars and cents, the budget. So if there's money in the budget to pay my salary, and there is costs associated with like the program, that energy cap program is quite expensive to rent or use each year. Mileage, this all has to be taken into consideration. With that being said, I see the district as we've now improved with the use of more innovative and energy efficient equipment in our buildings. The boiler sizes have gone down. Our buildings now are basically all computer operated. That my role now becomes somewhat more of making sure that these computers are talking to the equipment,
Right.
like on weekends. They all have a schedule built in. The computer might say, okay, this thing is off on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in and the AC is running.
Yeah,
There's something wrong. Now, it might not be caught during the day because that's what it's supposed to be running.
right.
There's still things that are left on, overhead projectors and so on. These are 300-400 watt bulbs that are in
Yes.
there. Sometimes now I think the job is becoming more like, what I refer to it as a police car. You're driving down, say, 422, nice straight stretch, you're clipping along at 65 mile an hour, speed limit is 55. And people are doing it. You put a police car down there, what happens?
Everyone
Slows down, whether or not there's anybody even in the car.
Right.
The knowledge that, okay, somebody's going to be coming around and checking kind of keeps a
Yeah.
brake on the use of energy and things like that.
What are the benefits of the energy program to the district?
Okay, obviously the major benefit is what we refer to as cost avoidance. Again, I've provided, there's one of the reports from Energy Cap provides that, so I've incorporated that. That enables more of the money, instead of going to the utility companies, to come into education. In addition to that, not only are we looking at saving money through just cutting back on our energy usage, we participate in what is called a demand response program. Every summer, our buildings then enable us, or what we have to have the buildings do is be able to shut down to zero. In other words, no energy consumption for a period of 1 hour. That shows that we can drop usage in case, and what this does, this demand response program, is to take demand off the grid in case there's storms or something like that,
Right.
prevent brownouts, blackouts.
Yes.
During that 1 hour shutdown, they can check, make sure the emergency generators are running, the emergency lighting system is working. For that participation, last year we pulled in over $20-some thousand from the program. In addition to the demand response program, I make sure that anytime we have a lighting project or any type of project that is going to increase or decrease our consumption of energy, and usually it's in terms of electricity, you have to jump through a number of hoops, but we get a rebate. We just completed over the summer 2 projects up at West Hills Primary, at West Hills Elementary. And with a company known as Sodexo, and with the help of West Penn Power, the gentleman up there who I work with every now and then, Mr. Doug Good, has been excellent. Just those 2 little projects, we brought in well over $2,000 just to help offset the cost of what the light bulbs and things like that.
So you think this demand response program has really been a big help?
At $20-some thousand a year for 1 hour of shutdown, and it takes place during the day and then over the summer, so there's not much of impedance and anything going on in the district at that time.
Yeah. I know you send out reports and reminder emails to faculty and staff. What information is usually contained in those?
Okay, periodically we'll send out exactly how each building is doing. I also like to put out there, for example, a lot of people don't know, they have the ability to choose at their home level, just as the district does, who is, shall we say, generating their electricity and their natural gas. There's a company, or it's not a company, but it's a website, I think it's PA Energy Switch, something like that, that depending upon a utility bill, let me go back, a utility bill is made up of two components. One is your transmission. The other one is your generator. West Penn Power is basically who owns our lines coming into the building. People's Natural Gas owns the pipelines. But who provides you with that commodity, whether it be electric or gas? People in Pennsylvania have the ability to choose and look and see if they can save money. So I just got through putting out a report or an email out on how to go about and shop for your own supplier.
So you're sending emails out not only to help the district, but to help people at
exactly.
home.
And also in terms of, okay, when LEDs started coming out, I was putting out, their cost, and were LEDs always the most cost effective? Not necessarily, because the LEDs originally were quite expensive. So the amount of time or amount of money that you were spending for the LED was the payback worth actually changing and putting in that LED.
Do you think those emails have helped people like really look into like who does their electricity or natural gas and all
Yes,
that?
because I've actually gotten reports back from people, and I send them out to all the district employees, and every now and then somebody will ask me questions and things like that. One of the things they have to look at is whether or not on some of these are you getting a variable rate or a fixed rate? Because if you recall a number of years back, people in, I think it was Pittsburgh, got hammered with increase in electric costs because they thought they were getting a nice low rate, but here was a variable rate which goes away rather quickly, and then they can jack it up. So things like that, yeah, I've gotten people asking questions about it.
Because sometimes I think people don't realize, like they don't really look into it that much because they really don't care or interested.
Not so much they don't care, it's a little bit of time consumption, and they take it for granted.
Yes.
They look at their bill, they get a monthly bill, okay, I have to pay it.
Yeah.
And it may not amount to much, but that's like a lot of the savings that we have in the district. There may be small amounts, but every little bit adds up.
Right, right. Do you think that the various building staff has responded well in helping improve energy consumption?
This is where I think a lot of the credit for our cost avoidance and our savings has to go to the custodians, because they're the ones who actually control the building operation. During the day, there's not a lot because, like I said, if you need it, you're using it. So teachers have their classroom lights on, projectors on, building temperatures being maintained. It's starting like on the second shift. The lights in the hallways are down, lights in the classroom are off except where they're working it. So a lot of credit goes to our custodial staff. I have to give them all kind of credit and word. Now our custodial staff is not all constantly undergoing changes. Guys are retiring. We basically have a fairly old custodial staff.
Yeah.
So there's going to be new guys coming on. And they'll have to be kept up, hey, you don't leave all the lights on. You don't need the lights on in all your classrooms while you're cleaning. Just have the lights on when you're working in.
Do you think that helps them? They like take that advice from you or like to keep the lights off? And
sometimes there again, it's a learning curve because it depends upon what they've grown up with. Like I said, a lot of the older ones, they grew up in an era where, hey, your mother and dad told you, don't leave your light on your room. A lot of times nowadays, that's not the case. Okay, turn it on, I'll walk away, I'll go away, So it's, there again, the learning curve has to start all over again.
Yeah,
like I said, it's a mindset.
Because if we had a younger custodial, I know I leave the TV on all the time and my lights, and so it wouldn't really make much of a difference either way.
Somebody said, well, it's just a TV. A lot of these TVs now are the instant on TVs. Well, the reason why they're instant on because they're always drawing power. It's called vampire power. And there's a lot of loss there too, in your home and in the building.
Yeah, that's true. And then your electricity bill just
keeps creeping up.
Yeah, it just keeps creeping through the roof. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
Take, take the time, shop around for your energy usage. And like I said, and it's not only going to benefit you in terms of dollars and cents, but it also does things for the environment. One of the things that we can track are that Energy Cap program is actually the consumption of energy, obviously, but also how much in terms of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases are now not being produced. It can be related to the number of trees that are, quote, like imaginarily planted, or the number of cars taken off the road. So, again, I'm a conservativist when it comes to energy and cost and things like that, but the environment is something we can't harm. We're
Right.
continually, whether or not you believe in global warming and things like that, look at the weather patterns that have been changing.
Yeah.
I live in Indiana, and I can see weather patterns coming in, and all of a sudden they just kind of branch.
Right.
Wonder why? Well, we have a couple power stations over there that are generating a lot of heat.
Yes.
And that acts as a barrier.
That's our show for tonight. I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Bill Smeltz, the Armstrong School District Energy Manager, for being on the show. I'd also like to thank our film crew. Today we had Armstrong Junior Senior High School students led by teacher Mr. Don Swanson. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. DVD copies of this and all Education Today programming can be requested by contacting Chris Garetano at Armstrong Junior Senior High School. Visit our website for updated news and information about the district. Have a great week.